This is the episode of Tiny Little Victories you've been waiting for. Tiny Little Victories are paradoxal because they are grand. And we are going to cover that with a pilot. We're going to cover that with LGBTQ church. We're going to cover that with moving countries. And above all, with a lot of laughter and a lot of fun. This is the episode for you. Let's go!
Everybody, you are listening to Tiny Little Victories. I am still your host, Jennifer Kite Powell. I don't know why I keep saying that. I'm still your host. Like, nobody else does this show with me but me, so no one's going to kick me off but me. And my guest is laughing at me, which I absolutely love right now. And I want to tell you about my guest because he is somebody who has done a lot of very interesting things in his life. His name is Naos Wilbrink, and I'm sure he's going to correct me on that pronunciation, but I just want to tell everybody he's Dutch. As you know, I love my Dutchies. Love the Dutch people, love the Dutch food, love everything about them, and over 50% of my guests are Dutch. So on that note, welcome to the show, Naos.
Thank you so much, and I am going to correct you on the name again, of course.
I know.
Because it's you pronounce it Naos. But it's a really,
okay.
Yes, because it's an Irish name. I am
what?
Dutch, but I am half Irish.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you're half Irish, and you're Dutch. And Naos, it's kind of like Neo from The Matrix, but with an S.
With an S. Neos. Yes.
Neos. Okay, and these years I've known you, over 10, 12 years, I've called you incorrect name. Isn't that terrible?
Everyone has. So, and I don't get offended anymore. It's great.
Okay, you can because they're both great sounding names.
The great thing is whenever salespeople call me and they're like, "Hi, Naos, how are you? A long time. We haven't talked in a long time." It's like, you've never talked to me because you would know you would pronounce it differently.
You said my name wrong. Exactly. Those guys need to get it together. They try to come up with every little gimmick to get you to answer the phone or talk to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay,
say it one more time. It's Naos. Right?
Naos, that's it. Yep, perfect.
I like this. It's like Naus, Naos.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I love it. So, you know what's interesting about you is that, and I got this sound effect especially just for you, but you are a pilot.
I am a proud pilot. And the joke is, how do you know that there's a pilot in the room?
How do you know if there's a pilot in the room?
They'll tell you.
Oh, that's funny. Haha. Okay, that's a good one. That's pretty funny. I was so slow on the sound effects on that, but how do you know? Yeah, because you guys are pretty. Very ego forward.
Yes. So they call them A-type people. I'm not sure if I'm A-type, although
I don't think you're A-type.
No, I don't think so either. But there are. I think pilot life has a lot of A-type personalities.
I love that pilot life. Okay, so let's get into this pilot business because you and I have known each other for a long time from the Netherlands, and you're an entrepreneur and you're a computer tech guy, and you had a startup, and we met many years ago, and now you're a pilot. And I saw a post on LinkedIn. You're living in California, and you got your pilot's license. What was the journey there? How did that happen?
# living the dream.
I love that. # living the dream.
# living the dream, because that's pilot life. Although sometimes this dream is nightmarish and you have to choose which part we'll focus on. And right now, I'm going to tell everyone. What's that?
Okay, tell us. No, go ahead. Okay. Tell everybody.
So, I had the startup together with Bart. We had Frogleaf, and it was a mobile agency, and we made all these apps for just as iPhone came out and they launched their app store.
Oh yeah, can I put a pin in that with you with the mobile apps? That is, again, this goes back to why I love the Dutch so much, because this was back in 2007, 2008, right? When mobile phones, iPhones were just coming out. And if you talk to any Dutch people, because you guys were way ahead of the pack with the Dutch cowboys and all that stuff, and you guys were on that app train at that time.
Yeah, and everyone was like, no, iPhone is going to be a fad. It doesn't have a keyboard. I'm like, for real? Is that it?
So anyway. Ahead of the curve, though, a little bit, though, I think, with Frogleaf. You were.
I think so. Yeah, and ironically, we had this whole thing. It was about 10 years ago, and we went on this bandwagon of conversational interfaces, and we wanted to have these conversational interfaces were going to be the future, and meaning like a chat type interface, which now obviously everyone uses ChatGPT,
Well,
and the conversation interface now
yeah.
is yes.
So that's so interesting. So you guys, I mean, you're right. It is more than 10 years ago. And what made you think that that was something that apps and phones were going to need? Because nobody was talking really about conversational interfaces in 2007. They were
No.
all talking about push ads. Remember push ads? You're going to walk down the
Yep.
street and a
Yep.
shoe shop was going to like send an a coupon to your phone. That
Yep.
never happened.
Yeah, come on in. This is right for you because you need it. It's like a
Yeah, here's a red shoe you need to wear.
yes. I don't. Well, I can go into that, but I don't think that's the most important. No, most like.
Okay, I like that. Forget it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in a short term, I was working for Rapid Sugar, which was an email marketing agency, and was the first email marketing agency in the Netherlands that sent emails with pictures in them. Like that was a big deal, like
What?
HTML emails, and that's what we
Yeah.
did. And then we sent out hundreds of millions of emails because we had like huge clients worldwide. And then
Because
from
we could
there,
do that then. It was before GDPR.
yes, and I developed like JavaScripts for in emails to see if people read them because I wanted to know if they read them.
Oh.
And after that, it turned evil, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to be part of that. But yeah, it's so crazy because sometimes you just think of something and you think it's really cool for just that purpose, and then someone else
Yeah.
comes, oh, but now I know this. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's like building your like ESMC squared. It's like you have the power of the atom, and you split it,
Yeah.
and then it's
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
for endless energy. But then you use that energy for a bomb, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. That is such a great benchmark to talk about, like the usage of technology. Like it takes a turn for the evil side of things. If you can imagine it, somebody's going to figure out a way.
Exactly.
Someone's going to figure out a way to turn it evil for evil
Yeah.
purposes, which is why AI scares me a little. We can talk about that later. But okay, so you have this tech background. You did Frog Leap with Bart. You're always thinking ahead and creating, the types of technology with now things that we take for granted, like it's just automatic, and now people are getting spammed. So, was there some part of you somewhere where you felt like, I need to do more, I want to be a pilot, or was it just this sort of transitional movement to a different area that you wanted to tackle?
So for me, I was very much done with the cyclicalness of the whole tech industry because it was all the same
That's a good way
thing.
to describe it.
Yeah, I think everything in life is cyclical, and I see it with tech development. Like first you had, like as I said, the HTML emails that were a thing, but then the marketing elements came up, and then apps came in, and then from apps it was in. Now we're getting more on the AI. But it's always the same kind of thing. It's a big hype.
Yeah.
We see it's the same.
Yeah.
Like Gartner makes the
It's
great.
exhausting.
Yeah, it's the same thing, and it's just different. And then everyone is against, and they go like, "No, it's going to change my life, and it's going to it's
Yeah.
terrible." Think about the children. And I was like, "Okay, yeah,
Think about
but
the kids, right?
I know.
Exactly.
The children. Oh no."
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
There was a podcast that talked about, they were debating AI, and they were, okay, so if AI can help stop child pornography, then wouldn't it be better if the child pornography images were made with AI? And somebody else was like, no, because it's still child pornography. So I was thinking, listening, I didn't say anything. I was just listening. Like, I don't know how to comment on this at all. But that is the essence of the problem, right? Like, yeah, but we can use this instead. I'm like, okay, but that's still reality. Is that still representing something that should not be created in the first place? And I heard that you started to allude a little bit to Gartner's Magic Quadrant, which I think, for the record, is a complete scam. Because they change it all the time. They get all these companies to buy into it. Like you said, it's a huge hype bubble. And then, bye-bye.
Exactly, but that's the same thing over and over and over, just in a new way, and that's sadly part of what consultancy does. I mean, there's some good consultants out there, and I think they should keep it up. But there's also just a whole lot of hot air. or
Yeah,
I should
yeah.
just say bullshit.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that. We can say that
Yeah.
here. We can say whatever we want here. We can use
Cool.
expletives, or if you're in the UK, you can say expletives. Whatever you want.
Awesome. Cool.
So you made your way to be a pilot.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, so there was kind of a bridge that we're talking about with the whole AI and that, and then so for me, it was like it was the same, and then after I sold my company, and I was very fortunate to bump into people, and after I sold my company, I went to the States to complete a long. I had a yearning to fly an airplane, just to do that.
I love that. I had a yearning.
Yeah, yearning. I needed this itch scratched, and so I went. And my wife, we talked about it, and she's like, you just leave for 2 months. You
yeah, go it.
Go away and do it.
Go away and do it. Yeah.
Yes.
She's a good woman. She knows you can't tell a man no because they resent it forever. So just get it over with.
Yeah,
if it sticks,
those were her words. She said exactly like, I don't ever want you to think that I stopped you from not living up to something you could do. And I'm like, okay, I love you. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's like a high watermark in a relationship, I think. Like, I think if people always say, what is love? How do you know if you care for somebody? To me, that's a perfect example right there.
Yeah. So I left for the States. I got my PPL, which is your private pilot license. And that will allow you to fly small, like generally single engine airplanes, and like the little mopeds in the sky that you see.
Oh, and but how long does that take to get a PPL? What is that timeline? Like, how many hours do you have to fly?
Technically, only 40 hours.
What?
Yep. Technically, most people do it in 60, 65, and it's not like the flying element is not very difficult. It is everything that comes around it, and
I bet.
And basically, when the DPE, which is the designated pilot examiner, like the examiner that flies with you on your last day during your check ride, he'll tell you, here is your license to learn. Basically, it's the equivalent of a learner's license.
Your learner's permit. Yeah, your learner's permit.
Yeah, so it's like, go up. I know you're not going to crash. I know you can take off. I know you're not going to bump into someone. Here, good luck. Now go make hours. Yeah,
don't go make hours. So you're driving these single engine planes. Are these the ones with the little pedals? Like you have to do the pedals.
What pedals? Like I'm just picturing yabba dabba doo.
She had a yabba dabba doo sound. Yes, I can see you up in the air. You're very. By the way, Naos is very tall. So just imagine him in a tiny plane with his yabba dabba doo pedals. Just to me makes me laugh a lot. No, the reason why I asked is because I was in Botswana traveling with National Geographic a couple of years ago, and they had to take me into this very remote place, and we went up in what I thought was a very teeny tiny little plane, and the guy there were pedals in the
rudder pedals.
A bush plane, rudder pedals.
Sure, yes.
Rudder pedal planes or no?
Every plane, every plane has a rudder pedals because basically you have you can go up and down and left and right with the yoke, with the thing that sits in the middle in most airplanes.
Okay.
And then on the tail, on the empennage, you have your rudder. And your rudder you can control by using your feet, basically. So that controls the third axis.
And that's what you were in, the single engine planes. That's
single engine plane. Yes, I got my license, and then with that license I came back home to Holland, and then I started flying around. And then that was like so cool because for our wedding anniversary the year after, I took my wife to Prague in an airplane, myself.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
I know.
So is that also a single engine plane that you flew in?
Yeah, that was a little moped in the the and
I love so cute, little helmets on, or the scarf flying out behind her. I can see you guys up there.
Let's go.
That's kind of Prague. Was it different flying there than in California? Because that's where you got your license. It must have been like so beautiful, because I think Holland and the Netherlands, the Low Country, is so beautiful. Just seeing that for the first time.
Yeah, so funny enough, I got my PPL in Florida, and actually I got most of my ratings in Florida. and I didn't
Okay.
move to California until later. But
Man, I don't have
flying,
your story down at all. Okay.
no, that's fine. That's fine. The flying I did in the Netherlands, it's completely different. It goes very technical, and that's very boring. Like the airspace is kind of confined.
That is. That's true.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go
yes,
into
but
that.
Smaller, of course. There's not enough space. Like
No, and Schiphol is right
you have
on
to fly
it.
differently.
Yeah, you have to. You
Oh my
can't
God.
go higher than 1,500 feet for a long time. And in
Oh my
America, you can
God.
fly up high. You can go to, I don't know. You just go
Wild
4,500
West over
feet.
here in the skies.
Absolutely. It's like free for all. Let's go.
Come on up there. Okay, so
Yeah.
you had this big open space in Florida training, then you got back to your homeland,
Mhm.
and you couldn't. That must have been a whole. And you got a lot of your hours there, so you probably got
Yeah.
a lot of experience.
Yeah, and I was able to buy buy into a company that had a Cirrus aircraft, and the Cirrus is
I love
kind of
that.
like a BMW. Like I say, the other
Yeah.
airplane I was driving was kind of like a moped, and the Cirrus is kind of more of a nice BMW. It has nice seats, and
Love that.
it came with a parachute. Like the whole airplane came with a
Oh.
parachute.
What?
I mean, they would also call it the wife plane. The only thing that your wife would allow you to buy. It's a very misogynistic
Oh
thing
my
to
God, I
say,
love that.
but yes, but that was the thing. Yeah, is it misogynistic?
No, I think it sounds like society. It sounds normal.
Okay, cool. Cool.
It does not sound misogynist at all. It actually sounds true. And I don't know why, on a side note, boop, boop, I don't know why we all fake it, because we all know that women are women and men are men. And
Mm.
when you get down to those two things, people, you can say to a woman, I heard this before, say, if you're having an affair on your wife, you should buy her a buttercream Mercedes. That's the most common car. The wife car is a buttercream Mercedes. And I'm just like, what? How is this a thing? But this is reality. Like, we all know that women can control the purse strings, and they're the biggest buyers of consumer electronics. So no, I think it's totally normal. She wants
That
you to
is
fly
so
in
funny.
class. Why
Yeah.
should you not have a buttercream Cirrus?
There you go. Yes, let's go.
Yeah.
It was
So
good.
yeah.
So
Champagne colored, buttercream,
champagne
whatever.
colored. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. I'll keep that in mind for no.
Keep that in
Um,
mind for future, yes.
Yeah. So I did that flying. After that, COVID hit. Things happened, and it's. I started. It all coincided. It all came together basically because I was working for this other company because I had a choice in 2020 to either start working for this company and make a lot of money, or do a pilot school in Germany for Lufthansa. And
Oh,
at that
wow.
stage, I decided to go for the money because our daughter was still at home. She
That's
was
normal.
16, 17, and it was like, I know she wasn't at home much, but it was still
Yeah.
part of like, what are we trying to do? Our responsibility to our children is to give them the best start in life, although that's what I believe. So me
Yeah.
being absent would be counterintuitive to that goal. So
Yeah.
I decided I cannot go with this goal in mind and leave the house for so long. And
I like that you made that decision. I think more people, I think parents have tough decisions to make, and I really like it that you thought about that decision as a human being, as a father, and as part of a couple. So claps to you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, so then later on, she became older, and then COVID hit, and then I got laid off, or whatever you call it, from the other job because
I don't know what you call it. Yeah,
the same thing. And and we did a different startup on the side, and then it just culminated into a moment where she was ready to leave the house or actually move with us to the States. I was able to leave, and I had some money left to do the rest of the pilot training I needed. And I talked about it to my wife. I was like, okay, let's put this plan in motion. Let's go for this life-altering thing.
Yeah, and COVID did that to a lot of people, right? I think it made you sit up and take stock, I guess, of who you were and what you wanted in your life, what was important, was not important. And I think that's my takeaway from COVID. I really started looking at things that really mattered to me, and how I wanted to be. And I moved and resettled and did some new things. And now you guys going to California, you're gonna have to get a Valley girl accent, I guess, now, right?
Like, totally. I will totally like work on that accent and I'll try. I don't want to stigmatize anyone, but like really sometimes
Yeah.
people
Do you
talk
like
like
live
this.
in where do you live? Like, and what's the town you live in?
Like Calabasas. So
It sounds so perfect. For you have a great Valley Girl guy accent. I love
thank
that.
you.
Calabasas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calabasas, it's
And
different.
you
It's a lot different than
it is,
yeah.
but what makes it different? But
Well,
I
this is the
mean,
first time in my life that I'm actually living in, let's call it the suburbs. And
oh,
it's pretty,
that's weird.
yes, very weird. But it's closer.
So suburbs of America, I'm sorry for you. Yes.
Thank you. And in California.
Oh, it sounds absolutely horrifying to
I
me.
have to
Sorry
drive.
for anybody from
I have to.
yeah.
I have to drive everywhere. Like I didn't know. I
Oh
didn't
my
know.
God.
Yeah. But
You
before
had
this,
no idea.
no,
But
I had. We were
yeah.
living in sort of Belmont Shore, as people would say. Well, I would say Long Beach, but we were living in Belmont Shore part. And that was city life. That was great. And it was like 2 streets from the beach.
Yeah.
And I'd run on the beach and it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Ooh.
Like awesome, awome. A lot of
Yeah.
homelessness. I mean, not so awesome. But
Yeah. Yeah.
here, I don't even.
But 2 blocks from the beach, awesome.
Yeah, 2 blocks. Like literally, I could see the ocean from the window. That was like
That's so
pretty
nice.
amazing. But here in Calabasas, closer to my wife's work. And yeah, it's we're finding a hang. The problem though is friends. We were very fortunate in finding some
Okay.
friends in Long Beach. Through a
Okay, dude, it's very difficult to make friends when you're an adult.
I
Like,
know.
you guys have moved all the way from the Netherlands to the suburbs of California, and now you got to make friends. Like, what have you been doing to make friends? Because it's hard.
It's really hard. So right now in
What's your secret?
Calabasas,
What's your secret?
I haven't. In Calabasas, I haven't applied it yet because I can't find it. But in Long Beach, when we were there,
Can't find any friends.
no. So if anyone in Calabasas listening, please, I want to be your friend.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Let's do a call out here.
Thank
If there's
you.
any cool people
Yeah.
as cool as Naos and Shanna, could you guys like respond to this podcast because they need some friends? Trust me,
Bring
you're gonna
it.
love it.
Cool.
They're very interesting people.
Yeah.
There you go. We call
Thank
it
you.
new friends.
Perfect.
Call for new friends.
Call for new friends.
You're welcome.
What we did is I'm agnostic. So my wife is religious. I'm agnostic, and we were living in Long Beach, and we didn't have any friends. We lived in there for about 4 or 5 months.
This is so sad.
I know. I mean, we met people, but it's not like, oh, I want friends. So I looked at her, and it was Gay Pride. So Gay Pride parade ran right in front of our window. And then I was like, oh. And then I saw some floats come by from churches. And I was like, oh, that's the American thing to do, church. But I don't like the normal church.
No.
But maybe an LGBTQ friendly church is
so smart. Like if I had to go to church, that's the church I would go
right?
to for sure. So smart.
Yeah, because they're inclusive.
Smart.
They're nice.
Yes,
I think they're nice. They're friendly.
They allow everybody to come into you.
Yes.
They share. Yeah. No, I shout out smart. And also I also am agnostic. And I like when I first moved here, I don't normally have trouble meeting friends, but there was one point when I was here, I feel like I know, that I was like, I got to meet some people because it was right after COVID and nobody was really talking. So I also looked for a church that had the pride flag and went and met some very nice people. Turns out they lived in my neighborhood.
See?
So
yeah.
now I see them and I bought a house and he's like, hey, I'm like, hey,
perfect.
So, now I don't have to go back to church.
No,
but that was a good,
it served its purpose. No. Check done.
Yes.
So that was great. And then my wife went.
I like your strategy.
She went church hopping. So there were like 3 churches and 2 she visited. And she was like, she came out there crying. She's like, no, crying in a bad way, crying.
Aww.
And then she found the other one, which is, I'm just going to do a shout out for Long Beach City Church, which was awesome. And they really are able to hold space for real conversations. And what I love is that even as an agnostic, I'm being like acknowledged, like, hey, if you're here, that's fine. And if you don't want to partake in these rituals, you don't have to. Like, that was like, oh, wow.
I think that's how it should be.
Yes.
Yeah. It's inclusive. That's inclusive.
All
and
inclusive.
Also,
yeah.
I think conversation is the thing that we're missing from society right now. Just completely black or white. Nobody wants to talk or listen. And I shout out to Long Beach City Church. I love that. Shout out. We'll do a
Yes.
little write up for them in the notes.
Awesome. And we met great people through that,
Cool.
like amazing people. So that was
Are
really
they
nice.
now? You met these great people. Are you still having dinner with them? Are they your friends or?
Yeah, they're just now 2 hours driving away because without traffic, it's like
Oh, yes.
45 minutes. But when is there not traffic?
Oh, there's never not traffic. See, this is why I'm trying to get. I just looked it up, and yeah, that's far. So you basically, sorry, you have to make new friends now.
know.
You got to go
I
to
know.
another. It's
We-
like, I got to start over.
So it was my wife's birthday yesterday. We went, well, yesterday, the 6th. And
Yeah.
we went for dinner.
Yeah.
And I asked the people there at the restaurant, and was like, hey, is there any LGBTQ places out here where we could just go?
Yeah.
Because I think that's our vibe, kind of, even though we're not
Yeah, I get
gay,
it.
but we're,
Yeah, I don't think you have. I don't think you have to be in that group to be part of
exactly.
that movement and that pride,
Mhm.
pride in who you are.
Yeah.
So
Allies,
I think
she
that's
called it.
a
We're
really beautiful
allies.
place to be.
Yeah.
I like that, allies.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
Anyway, all to
I
say
like it.
that I'm.
So you're gonna go there. All this. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no. All to say, because all this is a big tangent of the whole pilot story.
That's okay. We're gonna. It's here. I have it in big yellow mark here. I will get us back. Don't worry.
Cool.
And I love tangents.
Nice.
The whole point of this podcast is random tangents.
I love it.
So we're good.
Yeah. Cool.
What was your tangent?
Well,
the church is your
no,
tangent.
all this, yeah, all the friendship and everything, because that comes with all the moving, and that's like the hard part. The easy
Yeah.
part, well, somehow the easy part is the flying. Once you get to fly and you have it, it's great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. But you have this pilot community, right? Like a built-in pilot community in a way. Is that something that you can like tap into for this friend making in your 40s?
I 100% should. Well, yes, it is, because as soon as I mention aviation, and I do mention it always,
Yeah.
and they go,
Because that's how you know there's a pilot in the
exactly.
room. Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah. But and we get. So I found another pilot here in the compound, or whatever it's called, like this gated community we're living in, and I'm going from like a beachfront property with homelessness to gated community. Yeah.
Oh, you said that so hush hush. You were like, a gated community.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Everything's temporary.
True.
Life is impermanent.
Yeah.
And and the way I think you guys are probably looking at it is it's another experience. You don't have to stay there forever.
It is. We're looking actually for me to get a job so we can buy land and build houses. So
yeah, there you go. You can have a whole commune out in the. Well, good luck with that. You're gonna need a lot of money. It's California. But I'm gonna take us back to the pilot because one of the things that why we're talking right now, other than you're an amazing human, was that I did notice on your LinkedIn last year that it said command pilot, survey pilot for Angel Flight West. And I was like, what the hell is Naos doing right now?
Yes.
And that was, so you ended up getting a different pilot's license and you've been flying for Angel Flight West, which is the coolest group apparently, which helps give people flights for people in need, like they can't afford it or medical things or right. It's like a do good, feel good.
It is
Piloting service.
Yeah, and I got. I'll need to like break it up in different things. One, yes, I got more licenses. Like the instrument rating is what you need to get, and then a commercial rating, and then a multi. So you get all that, and then you get all your endorsements, because endorsements for spin endorsement and for high altitude, etc., etc. Anyway, you get all those, and you pay a ton of money, and then you have your commercial license, and that's the moment you can start working. Finally, you can make money with flying airplanes. And
so you have a commercial license now, right?
Yes. And there's one more thing I need to get, and that's the ATP. That's the airline transport pilot. So that's the next thing on the list. ATP.
Okay, and then you're like pilot. Then you're like very piloty then, right?
Then I'd be like an airline pilot. Then I can fly big planes and.
Like a United, well, you probably or Delta or something like that. Yep. Okay, and in the meantime, you know what? That honestly, amazing for you. I'm going to use a sound effect. That's so great. That's great.
Cool. I love it. And
take a bow. Yeah.
Yeah. And in order to get to that point and to get your ATP, you need 1,500 hours experience. and 1,500 hours of flying.
Okay.
And you can do this by yourself.
Not just that little 40, not that little 40 for that original license.
Nope. They want you to get some experience, and which I understand. And
Okay.
so I started doing survey
Yeah, I
work.
want you to get some experience if
Yes,
you're flying my plane.
exactly. It's like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, I have 50 hours. I'll fly you to Memphis. I was like, nope, you're not. No, so so first I did the survey flying, and survey flying is for solar panels, and I go overhead with a couple of cameras in the airplane, and I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it creates a picture, and those pictures get sent to a different office, and they merge all those pictures together, and there's infrared, and with that they can see what the how well the solar panels are operating. So, and then they can feed back that to, so it's a big tech company actually. And I'm now working as a pilot feeding data to tech companies that are making this software.
That is so cool. A survey pilot. That is amazing. Very different than the Angel West. So you're getting a lot of different variety of experience now.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that survey pilots would have, that's a pretty, it seems like that's something that's really in need right now. Survey pilots.
Yeah, it's.
Didn't know that was a thing.
It is in need, and at the moment, I'm just the plane is in maintenance, and the other plane is in maintenance. So at the moment, I'm sitting at home. So if anyone else needs a survey pilot, then I'd gladly go out. I guess otherwise, I have to wait to the end of the month.
Okay, second shout out. Anybody that needs a survey pilot,
let's go.
Get in touch with us, right? Second shout out.
Yeah,
let's go. Let's do it.
Go big or go home.
Well,
yeah.
So go big or go home.
Yeah.
Give this man a survey pilot job, everybody. We're gonna put this all in the notes. Now while you're sitting at home waiting because these planes are busted, you have been posting quite a lot on LinkedIn about how much you don't like podcasts.
Yeah.
Except for one person, Esther Perel.
Yes.
Now, what are you loving about her and her podcast?
Okay, well, the podcast that she was on was actually a podcast for the Center of Humane Technology. And the Center for Humane Technology. Okay, by the way, I don't find all these podcasts. My wife finds them, and she tells me which one I need to listen to and which one I don't.
Okay, I see now. It's all coming out now.
Yes,
it's all coming out.
It's all my wife. And Esther Perel.
Okay, why? And tell me why you're so interested in the Center for Humane Technology and Esther Perel. I gotta know. I want to be in this number one list of yours, so I gotta know.
Let's go. So the Center for Humane Technology, what they go about is, I think their whole reason for being is to ensure, and we started about talking about that, is how can we use technology for good, and how can we not misuse it and take it the wrong way.
I love that.
In this, Esther Perel was, she's a psychologist, counselor.
She's interesting anyway. Yeah. I mean, I'm just kidding. I know her. She's interesting.
Yeah. And then someone wanted a session with her and couldn't get in. And then what they did is they gathered all Esther Perel's work that they could find online, trained the chatbot, and then started taking the chatbot as the counselor. So there was a digital version of Esther Perel out there. And she was asked to comment on that.
That does sound like a good podcast.
I know. Yes.
Okay.
So, and she went into use, and what I love the fact is she does not, she observes, but she does not, she observes very sharply, but she doesn't put an opinion on it. So she can say it's not bad or good. It is, and it has those effects, and those effects can be have negative side effects, and they can have positive side effects. But she doesn't say it's good or bad, and I love that in the way she talks about the subject matter, and that was something she also holds space with a paradox.
And she's a very interesting person because she talks about relational intelligence.
Yes,
which
correct.
Is something I think that's probably missing right now.
Yeah, and I think I think from her I got that quote that it's the paradox that sets us apart from children. Basically, we grow up, and right now we're very binary. Computers are binary. It's either good or bad. Is the right answer or the wrong answer? It's binary. But as an adult, we're getting taught that both things can be true at the same time, in a paradox. It is up to us to weigh the pros and cons for that situation or context and how to use it. So I think that is really the element that's what we're missing currently.
I mean, that is 100%. And I was hoping that you would say that instead of me, which is you did. So,
Cool.
well, I mean, you know, you put words around this in a much more clear way, because everything you just said is something I've been thinking and sharing with my niece. It's like these things she's 20
Yeah.
and out in the world and trying to figure out what she wants, and she's got this great desire to protect the environment and work, and she worked for AmeriCorps this summer.
Oh, yeah.
Cleaning trails, like just really doing some amazing things. And she said, I don't know which is it that it's a college degree that works or a real life experience. And she's coming to the middle where you're saying both of these things can be true at the same time. How you think and feel about yourself versus your place in the world. And that doesn't necessarily need to look the way society says it looks, because we all know by looking at you and all of your tiny little victories, you create your own, you create your own life inside of whatever paradoxes, are forming around you or inside of you.
Very well put. I think that's that's it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens.
It does.
and I do think like I wish more people would think about these things. Like I'm a big fan of Joe Dispenza, who talks about, the science inside of your body that encourages you to like think about your gut intelligence, like just there for a reason versus, manifesting based on how you listen to your body and the physiology of your body and how much we really operate on programming, inherited pieces of code, I call them, that are passed down to you from your parents. You don't even, why are they so upset that the cabinets are never shut? Like, where did that come from? And these little things just keep, handed down to us, and we just don't question them. We just go through life feeling I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm not smart enough, I'm too emotional because someone told you that when you were 7.
Yeah.
And the fact is like they inherited that line of code from somebody else. And I like the way she thinks and he thinks in terms of like, that's just programming. You can deprogram.
Yes. And I think we should.
Power to deprogram.
Definitely. And I think people think too much about what other people think of them. Yeah, I'm guilty of that very much. But as
well, I think it's hard because we're not non-binary. We're like you said, living in a paradox as adults.
Because I was thinking about that, and most of the time, other people are too busy thinking about what other people think of them.
That's, you know what? That is so true. And that's something that, I've seen young kids in their 19, 20s saying the same thing. But what if they think about, they're too busy thinking about themselves, but you think.
Exactly.
And recently, there was a young 12-year-old in my city neighborhood, and she wanted a summer job, and the summer's over. And I said, what kind of job do you want? She puts her hand on her jaw like an adult, right? And she says, I want something where I can see the results right away.
Oh.
And I said, how about, do you want to mow my lawn? Yeah. And she's 12. And she says, yes. And I go, well, how much do you want for mowing the lawn? And she says, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. And I said, yeah, you go do that. You go think about it. And I said, just one thing I want to advise, that as a girl, you probably need to really realize your value, because it's hard to realize our value as women. So just think about like your time and what it matters. Later that night, her mom texted me. She's, I love that you said that to her. She's literally up there in her room, figuring out the value of her time.
I love that.
So the next day she comes down and she says, okay, I know how much I'm going to charge you. I said, great. How much? She goes, I'm going to charge you $10, $5 for the front and $5 for the back. And I said, are you sure? She was, yeah, I figure it's going to take me 20 minutes to do both. So she had thought about her time. She had felt that this is how much her time was valued at. And then one day she came down and it took her like 35 minutes. It was hot. There was some stuff happening in the yard. And she goes, whoosh. This took me 35 minutes. That's not good value for my time. Adult, like, I love the way she's thinking. She's creating some logic in her life, but really thinking, how much am I worth? What's my time worth? And I don't think 12-year-olds like are processing at that level, basically.
It's true.
So I think she's a Yeah.
Well, on that note, because I actually had this conversation while flying, and we're doing these lines, and we're like we're two with an operator and me, the pilot, and we're talking because we spend 7 hours a day in an airplane and at 100 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, which would be 40.
No air conditioning?
No air conditioning. No, it's hot.
Yeah, it's like 40, 41.
Yes,
yeah.
40,
Yeah.
44, or 41 Celsius. And we talked about this because she has her husband they both have a garage, like and she's training to be a pilot. And so we're having this discussion in the cockpit, and we're going like value-based pricing. And she's completely against value-based pricing because she thinks it's not fair because it should cost the same for everyone. And I'm trying to argue for for value-based pricing, saying like, well, sometimes for some people something is worth more than it is in a different context. So they could make up if they pay more at that stage, then they could make it cheaper for other people. But that goes against her feeling of fairness. And I was like, wow, this is. I never thought about it from a fair, like from those words and perspective. I don't know what I think about it. I still think value-based pricing should be applied, but then maybe it shouldn't be applied in a way that it's always for maximizing profit, but it should be value-based pricing in the context of
that's a good
more holistic goals.
Agree. And I think that society tends to think always about profit. Like one of your fellow countrymen, Anko Schulte Terhorst. Okay, another, if he's listening. By the way, his podcast is the number 2 most highly streamed podcast here on Tiny Little Victories. Yay. But I'm
going to beat him.
Created a new... Oh, you're going to do it. Yeah, it's going to be number 1. I feel it coming. I feel it. All the Dutch ones always do really well. Cool. He created a ISP based on... because he was trying to rival KPN. So it's a really interesting story, this guy. And he talks about why does everything always have to be about profit? Why can't we have capitalism 2.0? So I love the way he thinks. He's a very interesting person to talk to. I'm sure he would probably be able to contribute to this value-based pricing conundrum. But I think that, again, if you're thinking in very binary ways, you know what I mean? Like black or white, yes or no, then the idea of just applying value-based pricing in one situation wouldn't work.
Right.
So yeah, everything is relative to the situation or the environment that you're in.
Yes.
Well, I have one more question I want to ask you, although I feel like I could talk to you all day. And this is from another post that you posted. You see, I'm literally stalking your LinkedIn
I love it.
page. When you post such interesting things, you wrote a really interesting article on LinkedIn about Chat GPT and pilot training.
Yes.
Using AI and weather forecasting and reporting and other things. And it was such a fascinating piece. So talk to me about why, like, what is your role? What is your feeling about this Chat GPT and pilot training? Give me your...
Okay.
Where are we going with that?
Where are we going with that? So for one, as you train to be a pilot, you basically train to be a weatherman, or a woman person. You're a weather person because you have
weather person.
Yes, weather person. Because you cannot fly and not care about the weather because there's always
that's so true.
Yes, you have to figure out if it's hot and density altitude, or if there's storms, or if there's hail, or if there what you need to go about, or how much fuel you need to take, where the wind is coming from, what landing is available, etc., etc. So you always look at the weather. So part of the way the pilots get their weather forecast is called a METAR and a TAF, which is like an outlook. And the METAR is like a current weather observation. And these are very shortened forms of weather, like very condensed forms of weather observations. In what I mean...
Like what? Can you give us an example?
Yeah, it'd be... I would have to... Like now a camera would be nice because I could show it. Yeah. No, but,
camera would be nice. Yeah.
But a METAR is so abbreviated. It needs to fit on it was invented when the telex was there and pilots needed to get a weather forecast over very, very small amount of characters. So FR would be BR would be mist. And it would just have all these 2 letters or little acronyms. And you would have to know what it says.
It's like the periodic table for weather.
Yes, exactly. Just like that. Perfect analogy. So basically, you have to learn all these combinations of it. And what I did is I had an interview coming up for SkyWest. And
Mhm.
And I wanted to make sure that I nailed my weather because they could ask lots of questions on it. And part of them is
Oh,
reading
yeah.
reading the METAR and the TAF. So what I did, even though you study them and use them all the time, you don't get to find all the weird stuff. And if you just look at weather forecasts during a normal time of day, most of the
Oh,
forecasts are pretty boring. So what I did is I went to ChatGPT because I love technology still. And I go like, how can this help me? And I said,
you're still a
I
technologist.
am
I love
totally. And
this.
I'm like, hey, generate 5 METARs for me, generate 5 of them and make them difficult. And I could interrogate. I can use ChatGPT to interrogate the results. So I could say, "Oh, I don't know what that means. Can you explain it?" Or do you have a good way for me to? What is a good
Mm.
mnemic to? Is it mnemic? What's the word? Like the what is a good
Yeah.
anchor to?
Mimic?
Yeah, exactly, to memorize these elements. And then ChatGPT comes up with all these handy things that I'm like, oh, this is great because you can
Wow.
interact with the material straight away, and that's the only way adults learn. If you can, if you, yes, you have to interact with the
Yeah, no,
material
it's
straight
true.
away.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. That's how I learned. That's how I learned.
Hmm.
Interact with it or forget it. It's not happening.
Exactly. So I was able to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so are you found, did that help you when you went before you took the SkyWest
Oh,
interview chat
uh,
to be able to learn more about the METAR
oh yeah, absolutely.
weather
I was able.
symbols?
They could, like, you can give me anything at the moment, and I'll know all of the combinations that are there.
You'll be
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Hmm.
Why are we so using such a still an old system for weather then? I mean, since we have all this new technology, is it just the METAR still works?
Oh yeah. So this is just one weather product.
You said it was a long time
It was
ago.
a long time ago. It's
Oh,
still
okay,
the
one weather
it's
product.
one weather product. There's so many other weather products, and a lot of
Okay.
AI is actually used in those weather products to make predictions. And I think that's a great thing where machine learning has been really big. Is the
Okay.
studying weather patterns and coming up with forecasts. And I think actually
Yeah,
that's.
it's interesting because when I saw it,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Sorry.
Mm. No, quantum
I was
computing.
just going to say
Oh,
that when you made that post, we do it together. I love it.
yeah.
Ah, I'm zipping it. Putting myself on mute right now.
No.
Go.
So quantum computing is the answer, I believe, to weather forecasting because there is so many elements that influence the weather, and currently it's just limited in capacity in supercomputers that can make predictions, and those simultaneous predictions is what quantum computing is really good at. So once they get that done, and if they don't go after heisting banks and security first, then weather forecasting will be great.
I love that. And so what I mean, I am fascinated by this, and we're already almost 50 minutes in, and we've been running all over the place, which I love. And after you wrote this piece, I just did a little bit of research and found like there's a lot of, information out there about using AI in weather,
Hmm.
like the power of AI and forecasting for weather. I think that FAA recently said last month that there was going to be no chat GPT at FAA.
Hmm.
Liars. I'm pretty sure they're not telling the truth.
Hmm.
Um, and you're just seeing all this information about chat GPT and aviation. And I wanted to know what you thought about how this would change the way you pilot using this type of technology, and or is it this something that you're able to, because you have a technology background, to be able quickly to see how beneficial it can be?
So I would have to answer that question in two tiers because I think one, it's a great, yeah, it's a
Okay,
great,
feel
it's a
free.
great study guide. Like you can, it's something that can
Mm.
help starting pilots to really immerse themselves into the data. But I've also noticed that ChatGPT sometimes, like not weather related, but with other topics in aviation, it's so specific that it gives wrong answers. So it is not,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So you have to, there's only one source of truth, and that's the far aim. And that's a big book that's published by FAA. That's the only source of truth that we can go on. So what you can
Yeah,
do is
yeah.
you can ask for references to that book or where in which articles is something
Mm.
stated, and that way you can actually it's like you gotta find a way to make it work. But if it works, I think
Yeah,
there's an opening here for educational products that can be developed on top of
yeah,
those core elements. When it goes for
yeah.
weather, the more situational awareness a pilot can have about options and possibilities, the better it is.
Yeah.
So I would welcome all development if it comes to weather reporting and forecasting. Then again, and that's the official answer, if you make your flight plan,
Yeah, I like that.
you must consult with either
That book
aviationweather.gov
from
or
the FAA.
something that's allowed. So you can use those as extra for situation awareness in addition to the official weather sources. Yeah.
And it's interesting because I that you said those two sources, the aviationweather.gov, because if you Google AI weather forecasting, of course, the internet says, or Google AI powered the search says that it's been used since the 70s. But if you really get down to the technology, you see IBM is really pushing this AI and weather forecasting and prediction. You've got NVIDIA with a product. You've got MIT Tech Review in July published a pretty amazing story about weather forecasting is having the AI moment. It's just a really interesting read about the models trained on historical weather data. And I thought, and I know I wanted to ask you this question, but data sets are a real problem, with the accuracy or just having bad data, which gives poor answers. But the data, historical weather data, is pretty black and white, right? If it's going back decades, it seems to me that the data sets here were probably pretty solid.
Yes.
As opposed to data sets when we're looking at people or behavior, people, cultural differences in how people are hired because of their skin color.
Exactly.
Whereas weather is pretty black and white.
Yes, and yes, because we started measuring more, and that's another post I made, and I think something else, and that is we only make decisions on things we measure, but it also means the opposite. We are not making decisions on things we're not measuring. So even though these models can, and this is just
that's true. That's true.
It's just a philosophical debate by now. But if we're not taking certain things into account, then the prediction that we're making might still be false.
Yeah, and it's so we're having very thoughtful conversation about it at a very whatever kind of level. And then you think about those real debates, like who's really having those debates, who's at the decision making table about legislatively what's happening with these things, and do those people know? And I think if the more we have these discussions, even on this podcast, even if you're making friends at a LGBTQ church in Calabasas,
let's go.
You are still let's go. Still creating that conversation. And I love that. And I love that you are out there putting these philosophical conversations to the forefront, because if we don't have people like you out there doing that, we are just I feel like we're going to be overrun by our AR overlords.
Yes.
So
I'm just looking forward to having you on board my airplane, and I will just open my microphone.
I am going to do it.
And I will just continue to talk to everyone on board.
Oh, this is gonna, you know what? It'd be an honor to be on your flight and be honored to have you as the pilot with that talk. And I'm actually going to come out to California, not Calabasas, but maybe in the fall, or in the new year. And I would love to come back and do this podcast in a plane.
Awesome.
If we could do it.
We can totally do that. I'll set it up.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Cool.
Okay. All right, let's do it. Let's make it happen. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank your time that you've given us, your brain. This has been my favorite. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna lie. It's been my favorite interview with somebody.
Cool.
It's just the whole time I've been doing it. And we're gonna give a bunch of shout outs to your church in
Long Beach. Yeah, the Long Beach.
Long Beach, not Long Island, Long Island City Beach. And of course, other people looking to hire a survey pilot. And so you guys, I'm going to put all the information about this fabulous human being in the notes, and please reach out to him and please comment on this podcast. And thank you so much for your time.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you, Jennifer.
I am so down with the energy and the conversation threads in that conversation with Naos Wilbrink. Half Irish, but he's Dutch. I love that. Known him all these years, and I pronounced his name wrong. What a kind person that he never corrected me. But, Naos is the kind of person you want at a dinner party because he can talk about anything. And for me, that kind of energy, those random thoughts that come up is exactly how I want to spend my time. I'm done with linear. I don't like linear conversations. Linear conversations are for people who have no imagination. So I feel like this is a win for everybody, and I hope everybody enjoyed listening to this. I don't know why I asked you guys that. Of course you enjoyed listening to this podcast with Naos Wilbrink, the pilot. So please come back next week for another lively conversation that is extremely unscripted and probably pretty chaotic. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's on the website, but I'll leave you with that, and I'll leave you with this. Please go and rate and comment about Tiny Little Victories on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Yeah, we're on Apple Podcasts. So for all you Apple people out there, just go click and like and emoji yourself to death. That would be awesome. So everybody stay safe. Everybody go out and have random conversations with people and enjoy your day. This is Jennifer Kite Powell for Tiny Little Victories.